Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode, I guess, of my channel, Honest Review. Today, I'm going to talk about a Salomon pack. It's the XA35 set. The XA series, it's basically, well, I think they promote it a little bit like a hiking backpack, right? That's how it's stated for hiking in the website. But I think it's more between a hiking pack and a vest, or a high capacity vest, if you would. So there's definitely a lot of things that I do like in this pack. There's a lot of things that I didn't like, but those things are also probably related more to the use that you're gonna have for something like this. So I started looking for something that was high capacity and was light, because in the last months I've been spending a lot of time outdoors because of the pandemic. Where if you're seeing this video in the future, I'm shooting this in September 2020. So the last months we've all been in the pandemic. So the only thing that was not closed was the outdoors. So I've been spending a lot of more time in the outdoors. And I found myself going on longer and longer and longer and longer adventures. So that's why I'm trying to look into something that is really lightweight and that also offers high capacity. So I've trusted Salomon for many years now. And after trying some packs from Ultimate Direction that didn't have a great fit, I decided to just get what you pay for and go to Salomon, because I know that, you know, it's on the higher end of how expensive it is. So that's what brings me to the XA35. Now, my go-to is what I'm wearing right now. This is Salomon's Advanced Skin 12. I will do definitely a long review on this at some point. But I really like this concept because I have pockets for my flasks, for my water. I have really great pockets in here for nutrition. I have some zipper pockets for my electronics that I'm going to make sure that they don't fall. I have access to a very large back pocket, right? The fit is great. I'm going to come closer. So I have a cinching system, right? So I can also decide if I want to cinch the top a little bit more snug than the bottom, right? Also, as I take things out of my pack or my vest, I can cinch it a little bit more if I want to during the run. And I'm talking about this feature because I'm going to show you how that translates into the XA. I also have different attachments here, like for example, to carry my poles just in the front. And I really like this vest. It has become my go-to. I recommend it to everybody. I have all my friends buy one, and you know, it's great. But it's a 12 liter, right? So even though I've been in some really long adventures with this, at some point, especially as we start to hit the cold weather, we're gonna need a little bit more capacity, right? So that being said, we come to the XA, right? So the XA, as I said, is 35 liters. And I was showing you all these features on the vest because they translate into this pack as well. So as you can see, it sits also like a vest. It has the exact same cinching system, right, in the front. But we also have some tabs here to also bring the pack closer, make a little bit of a snug fit. And we have the addition of a hip belt, right? Hip belt has pockets. And we also see something that we saw in the vest as well. So these top pockets are going to be for my flasks. These pockets are going to be for whatever other items. I usually use this for nutrition that I want to have on the go. It also has two zipper pockets, right? It also has my bungee cord attachments that I can use for my poles. That's typically the use that I have for these, but you can honestly attach whatever you want, right? They have different points to attach, but here you can have your poles, one here, the other one here. So as you change your decisions on the go, it's really good. So as you can see, the concept is pretty cool. I actually have set it up with some with some stuffing so you can see what the volume looks for a 35. So, in theory, this is great. I'm going to show you what I really, really liked first, and then the things that I didn't like too much. So what I really like, as I already told you, is the fit, right? I really like that this feels more like a vest than other light packs that I've worn. I really like the adjustability. We have adjustability here. We have adjustability here. You have adjustability here. So pretty much I mean, I'm in a medium large. So small medium, I guess is the one, and then I'm in the second size, which is medium large, and I'm 5'10", I'm roughly 180, so fits great, right? Some other things that I really like about this pack is how waterproof it is. It says weather resistant, but I would go ahead and say that it's almost waterproof. I was caught in a big storm in Massachusetts, and I was dreading that everything inside was going to be wet. Everything was fine. Everything was absolutely fine. So I was very surprised by that. Another thing that I really like too is, just like other hiking backpacks, Osprey is one of the brands that does this with almost all their backpacks. It has a mesh elastic pocket on the outside. I like this for a number of reasons. One, it's elastic. I can put whatever I want. So I'm basically adding maybe 2 or 3 liters, right? If I can squeeze some things inside. But the other thing too is that it's breathable. So if I'm on a multi-day adventure, this is where I would put, for example, my wet socks if I got changed, or if I have a couple of t-shirts that are just a little bit too sweaty, I will put them there. And so when I'm walking, they're gonna be drying out. So I like that a lot, right? So other things that I really like about this pack is just how clever it is made in terms of how it closes and how it's managed, right? So let me show you. As you can see, this is a rolling closure, which is very common in a lot of, especially in dry sacks, but a lot of packs have that. But what is really clever is how the cinching works. So there is a cinch system in here, which you pull, and then to release, you just basically hold the tab and you can just pull it away, right? So that is connected here, right? So basically, you put all your contents inside, whatever you want, right? And then, as you would with any normal dry bag, or a lot of biking commuter bags have this type of closure, you just roll it, right? And then you pull and you're done. So the cool thing about it is that because it's connected through the pack, you're already adding some compression, which is huge. When you're running or you're moving fast, you want things to be really snug. And compression tends to be always an issue for me because I have some items inside that are moving around too much. And this is 35, but what if I'm not carrying 35 liters, right? Like, you also want that, right? So the compression for me is huge, which brings me to that first thing that I want to say that I absolutely love is the compression system. Because then we have all these other spots in which you have another cord running through. And this one has a very similar system. It's actually, as you can recognize, it's almost the same draw cord, and you pull, and now you've cinched the rest of the weight. And you do that also on the other side, right? And then now everything, all the contents, because this is also connected to the bottom, all the contents are perfectly compressed, very snug to your body. Now, the first time that I tried this pack, I didn't have nearly enough stuff. I just had a pair of sneakers, 2 or 3 socks, a couple of layers. I would had enough, let's say, to maybe use with a 15-liter pack, right? But I wanted to try this. So when I compressed everything through, it was just fine. It was marvelous. So big fan of the compression system that they have. And it's not uncommon for Salomon to do that. In my Advanced Skin 12, you can also see how it has a similar compression system, right? So it's something that Salomon does pretty well. So two things that I like already, three actually: the mesh pockets, the compression system, and how waterproof it is, right? Another thing that is really cool is that it has a separate spot for the bladder. So even though you have the flasks here in the front, those one are probably 500 or 600 milliliters at best. So if you want more water, then in here, you have your sleeve pocket, that it also has the same system Salomon has in all their vests and packs to secure the bladder. So this goes through the bladder top, so that way it's not sunk all the way in the bottom, but it's actually sitting nice up top, right? Here, I also indirectly already showed you the second closing mechanism. One is the drawstring because we're pulling this in. The second one is this, right? I just pull and you're all good to go, right? Cool thing too is that this is so long that it also allows you to maybe put your jacket on top, for example, right? I mean, it has really good capabilities. I can tell you that it has really good capabilities. Same happens if we're talking about, you know, the cinching. It also works for you to put some materials in here if you want, right? Also, we have some attaching points here for bungee cords, so you can also put your tools there. So overall, the pack is super well thought of, and it is my theory that it comes from the S-Lab 20, right? The S-Lab 20 was a couple of years ago a 20-liter vest made for really fast adventures, right? Looking for the trail mountain running that was spending a little bit more too much time in the mountains and needed just to have a little bit more. That one had a zipper compartment. It's discontinued it out, but it seems to me that they wanted to replicate something, but add a little bit of more features, right? On the waist strap, we have the pockets. They don't have a zipper, but they do have some silicone to kind of keep them from just flapping open, right? So once they're under tension, this kind of grabs on whatever is it that it's inside, and it just kind of like stays in place, right? So on the inside, it's just basically one big pocket, but it does have a small zippered pocket for your essentials that you want to carry there. Also has a loop for your keys, and the rest is just basically a big stuff sack, right? There's no organization inside whatsoever. Cool. All right, so that's a rundown of the pack. I found it really difficult to see a video that really showed everything a little bit more in detail. So I hope this is helpful. I'm going to tell you the things that I didn't like, though, okay? The things that I didn't like was, I'm going to start with the front. So the things that I didn't like is that once you have the flasks in here, these pockets are super tight. It's really hard to put your hand, like just look right now, just without anything else behind it, you can see it's already a little bit snug. Now imagine having a full flask of water behind. So it's not as easy because then you also have the zipper compartment. So now you have two pockets that are fighting for space with a half liter of water there. Why do I complain about it, or why do I like that? Is because if you look at just the vest, look how much room there is in there, right? Just how much room you have. And you go into the zipper pocket and the room you have and how elastic it is great. In this one, the materials are not as forgiving, and of course, because this is supposed to be more of a shoulder strap, then the area that you have is not the same. So that's why the pocket, or the pocket, is a little bit snug, because you only have this area, whereas in the vest you have all this other area, right? So it's a matter of how the pack itself is engineered, but I still don't like it, right? I feel that if I want to have pockets like a vest, because I'm going to pull in my trail mix, I'm going to pull in whatever, I would like to be able to manage that a little bit better. I don't think you can do it, right? Once this was packed, I ended up having a big Ziploc with a lot of food in the back, and then just migrate here maybe 2 or 3 things quickly And then whenever I stopped again, I just have to move stuff from the back to the front because I was not able to have everything that I wanted in the front. Same goes for these guys. These pockets, they're not, if you're carrying gels, for example, it's probably going to be good for you. But like, let's say even my GPS, right? When you put it in, it's already a little bit out of the pocket, right? So if I'm wearing it, now you can see how it's totally out almost, right? So these pockets they don't have really a lot of capacity. So for me, I feel that if you were to put maybe a zipper on it so I can really stuff stuff in and knowing that it's not gonna fall out, sure. But every time I took my pack off when I used it, whatever was here was like falling. Even a pair of sunglasses, you know, you can see how it's already, I don't know, I feel that it's not like, a zipper wouldn't have been that much of an issue to put in there, right? Which brings me to these pockets in the top, right? So let me bring the pack a little bit higher. You have some pockets here, just like you do with other Salomon vests, right? Which these ones, same, like, see how it goes really, really high? So it makes, if I put my, and this is where I usually carry my sunglasses, right? So it goes really high. So when I have more weight, then it kind of tends to squish whatever you put in there, right? And see, it's already coming out. So, I mean, it's my headlamp, I put my headlamp in there, but I felt that it was falling a little bit. So I guess that to just resume what I don't like is I think the pockets are not great. So if you're looking to have everything in hand, I think that is probably not great, right? Like that's the one thing that I don't like. I think that the pockets are there, but they're not as convenient as it would be with a regular vest. So the other thing that I don't like is, well, it's not that I don't like it, but it depends on your application. That's something that I must say. So the pack is a 35-liter pack, yeah? So 35 liters is a lot. You saw when I had all my stuffing in, how big this pack is, right? 35 liters, to put it in context, you can probably pack for a couple of overnights with the 35 liters. If you're hiking, you can probably pack a couple of overnights. So I packed this with enough stuff to survive, 2 days, 1 overnight, and everything did fit. Everything did fit. Now consider that this is meant for ultralight backpacking, right? It's made for ultralight hiking. It's made for ultralight is the key, is what I'm looking for. Because see how big the volume is. If you're carrying regular stuff, meaning that whatever you have is not ultralight, then there's no way to bring the weight closer to you. You only have this, but as you can see, it's almost cinched already. So if you're not really proficient at how you pack your bag, you're gonna start to come back, right? And this is just basic packing, that you need to make sure that all your weight is distributed closer to your body, etc., things that are, common. But if you're carrying a lot of food and it's not packed great, if you're carrying pots and pans because you're gonna cook while you're camping, depending on what you're carrying, this pack may be a little bit uncomfortable because it doesn't have a frame. It doesn't have a lot of organization inside. So it's really gonna come to how well you pack. And there's no way to bring, like I mentioned, there's no weight distribution straps like usual hiking packs. So if this is top heavy, there's no way to avoid this from happening, right? Because you can cinch the front really snug, but in the end, this is bungee cord, right? So still, if it's too top heavy, it's still gonna you get the idea from this angle, right? It's still gonna pull you back. It's nice, it's snug, but again, it depends on what you're doing. So if you're just saying, hey, I'm gonna just have a pack that is light because I want to save some ounces, but I'm not saving any ounce. I'm not saving anything in any other anything else of my gear. I'm still gonna carry like a super clumsy tent and pants and stuff like that. Honestly, you're better off with something that has a frame and it's gonna sit on your hips and it's gonna help you distribute the weight, right? So that would be my take. So that's what I think, that from the XA series, I think that the 25 is probably, it's XA 15 liters, 25 liters, 35 liters. 25 is probably the perfect size when it comes to this type of application. If you need more than 25 liters, I would suggest start to look at your gear and see if you can make better decisions in terms of gear that takes less space. Or B, just go maybe with a hiking pack that has a frame and will help you distribute those 35 liters a little bit better. All right, that was a long one. I'm sorry, but yeah, but I had a lot to say about this because there's things that I really absolutely love, and I love Salomon, but definitely depending on the application, this may not be my first recommendation. Leave me your comments. I know it was a long one. Leave me your comments, and I'll see you in the next honors review.